Everyone, I'm here again. My name is Iyabo. I'm the owner of this channel, Discover with IYB. Today I'll be talking to you about updated travel protocol in Nigeria. This has taken effect on the 4th of May 2021. So I'll be telling you about it, and I'll be explaining some important points in it, and I'll be reading directly to you so that you have accurate information about it. So before I start, kindly like my video, share, subscribe please, and turn on your notification for future videos. Thank you. And as I was saying, the updated travel protocol, I'll be reading directly so that there'll be no inaccurate information, so that I'll be giving you directly the accurate points. Let me see. Okay, let me start. I'll be explaining as I read. Travel advisory for passengers arriving Nigeria from Brazil, India, and Turkey. So here, those okay, let me start before I start explaining. The Presidential Steering Committee on COVID-19 of COVID-19 has over the last few weeks been monitoring with concern the increasing trend of COVID-19 cases in several countries, with additional focus on countries with high incidence, fatality rise, and widespread prevalence of variants of concern. The government of Nigeria deeply empathizes with the citizens and governments of these countries and assure them our commitment, unflinching support, and solidarity at this time of need. So, in our effort to continue to safeguard the health of Nigerian population, as well as to minimize the risk of a surge in the number of COVID-19 cases in Nigeria, the Presidential Steering Committee carried out a risk assessment of countries with high incidence of cases. The risk assessment took into consideration the epidemiology of cases, prevalence of variants of concern, and average passenger volume between Nigeria and each country, amongst other indicators. So, of the countries assessed, this interim travel advisory applies to 3 countries in the first instance. These precautionary measures are necessary steps to minimize the risk of a surge in COVID-19 cases introduced to Nigeria from other countries, while national response activities continues. Nigerians are strongly advised to avoid any non-essential international travels to any country at this period, and specifically to countries that are showing rising number of cases and deaths. The Presidential Steering Committee on COVID-19, after due consideration, has therefore approved the implementation of the following measures. 1. Reduction of the validity period of pre-boarding COVID-19 PCR tests for all Nigerian-bound passengers from 96 hours to 72 hours. Henceforth, PCR test results older than 72 hours before departure shall not be accepted. So what they're saying here is that now COVID-19 results for 96 hours will not be accepted, only 72 hours. For example, if you are coming into, they will not accept any result, any COVID-19 result that is like 4 days to your departure into Nigeria. they are only going to accept 3 days to your departure. So that is what they are saying here. So any negative, any COVID-19 result that is 4 days to your to your arrival, to coming into Nigeria will not be accepted. It's only 3 days, 3 days to your departure. Then secondly, guidelines specific to Brazil, India and Turkey. Number one, any person who has visited Brazil, India or Turkey within 14 days preceding travel to Nigeria shall be denied entry into Nigeria. This regulation, however, does not apply to passengers who transited through these countries. So what they are saying here is that if you're coming from Brazil, Turkey, India, you will not be allowed into Nigeria. But if you are transiting, you'll be allowed in. For example, if you're coming from UK and you take like Turkish airline, definitely you'll be transiting into Turkey. You'll be transiting into Turkey. You'll be allowed into Nigeria because you are not coming directly from Turkey. So that is what they mean here, that if you are transiting, you'll be allowed into the country. Then the following measures shall apply to airlines and passengers who fail to comply with 1 and 2. To airlines and passengers who fail 1, airlines shall mandatorily pay a penalty of $3,500 for each defaulting passenger. That is, if airlines allow passengers that are coming from Brazil, Turkey or India, they'll pay $3,500 for each person. I know our airlines won't do that. They will not take anybody coming from there, but if they do, they are going to pay $3,500 for each passenger. Then secondly, non-Nigerians will be denied entry and return to the country of embarkation at cost to the airline. If you're a non-Nigerian, you'll be denied entry if you're coming from these 3 countries, and they will return you to where you're coming from. Then C, Nigerians and those with permanent resident permit shall undergo 7 days of mandatory quarantine in a government approved facility at the point of entry city and at cost to the passenger. The following conditions shall apply to such passengers. So here, if you're in Nigeria and you have a resident permit, you'll be allowed in, but you undergo 7 days quarantine in a government facility of your point of entry. That is, if you are coming in from Abuja, you'll be quarantined in a facility in Abuja. If you're coming from Lagos airport, you'll be quarantined, at a government facility in Lagos. Then the following conditions shall apply to such. Number 1, within 24 hours of arrival, shall take a COVID-19 PCR test. Number 2, if positive, the passenger shall be admitted within a government-approved treatment center in line with national treatment protocol. Number 3, if negative, the passenger shall continue to remain in quarantine and made to undergo a repeat PCR test on day 7 of their quarantine. So here, if you're a Nigerian and you have a resident permit, you'll be allowed in, but instead of going to your location, you stay at a government facility of your point of entry. Then you take a PCR test on your arrival within 24 hours. You take a COVID-19 PCR test. If you are positive, you'll be admitted into a government approved center, approved treatment center. If you are negative, you stay there, and the 7th day you still stay in a quarantine. But if you are negative, you stay there, and on the 7th day of your quarantine, you do another COVID test, making 2. That is when you get into Nigeria, within 24 hours of your arrival, you do a COVID-19 test. If you are positive, they'll send you to a treatment center. If you are negative, you continue your quarantine, and on your 7th day you do another COVID-19 PCR test. But then passengers arriving in Nigeria from other destinations, if you are arriving from other destinations apart from Turkey, Brazil, or India, you must observe a 7-day isolation at your location, at your final destination. Unlike those that are coming from Brazil, Turkey, and India, they are not going to their final destination. They'll first go to a government approved facility, but for those that are coming from other destinations apart from these 3 countries, they'll go to their final destination, but they must observe the 7-day isolation at their final destination. Then they have to do the COVID-19 test on the 7th day of their isolation at an approved laboratory, at a selected laboratory. Then they will be monitored for compliance to isolation protocol by appropriate authorities. Then also, false declaration. Passengers who provide false or misleading contact information will be liable to prosecution. So as a passenger, you must give accurate information, where you're going, your details. You shouldn't give a misleading information. Then persons who willfully disregard or refuse to comply with directions of port health staff, security agencies, or evade quarantine shall be prosecuted in accordance with the law. Obey, comply. That's what they are saying. You'll be prosecuted if you don't obey the authorities and their staffs. Then state governments are required to ensure that all returning travelers from all countries are monitored to ensure adherence to the mandatory 7-day self-isolation period and the repeat COVID-19 PCR test on the 7th day after arrival. This is very important. When you come into Nigeria, 7 days isolation is very important. On your 7th day, do a COVID-19 PCR test. And finally, they said, we urge members of the public to adhere to all COVID-19 preventive measures in place, including adherence to the national travel protocol, proper use of face masks, regular hand washing, and physical distancing. So that is all about the updated travel protocol in Nigeria right now, which has taken effect on the 4th of May 2021. Thank you for watching, and please don't forget to subscribe to this channel, like my video, share, and please turn on your notification for future videos. And please follow me on Instagram at SeeTheWorld26. Till I see you again, it's bye for now, and thank you.